So, Kim Namjoon, born September 12, 1994, in Dongja-gu, Seoul. But then his family moved to Ilsan-gu, Goyang, when he was pretty young, maybe 4 or 5.
Right. And what's interesting, like you said, is his parents' background. His dad worked at SK Telecom. His mom was a realtor. Not exactly the launch pad you'd picture for a future K-pop superstar.
Definitely not. And he has a younger sister, too. The bio had that funny note about him not wanting to introduce her to Jungkook, even though they're close in age.
Yeah. But what really stands out from his early years is just how incredibly bright he was. We're talking an IQ test score of 148.
Wow. 148.
Yeah, and he scored in the top 1% nationally on those super competitive university entrance exams. Across the board, too. Language, math, social studies, just, clearly gifted academically.
That's amazing, but it wasn't just academics, right? There's this other side, too.
Exactly. The poetry. Apparently, his mother gave him notebooks, and that really sparked something. He wasn't just dabbling either. He was actually winning awards for his writing, sharing it online for a bit. It genuinely looked like he might head down a literary path before, well, music took over.
And then there's the English. It's so central to his role now, connecting BTS with the world. The source says he mostly taught himself by watching Friends.
Yeah. Watching Friends with his mom, it's kind of a famous story now, but it speaks volumes about his drive, doesn't it? Plus, he had that 4-month language study trip to New Zealand when he was 12, back in 2006. That must have broadened his horizons quite a bit, too.
For sure. It's fascinating how all these pieces, the sharp intellect, the poetic side, the self-taught language skills, how they all came together.
It really is. It wasn't just like separate talents. They formed this unique foundation. The poetry gave his lyrics depth, the intellect allowed for complex themes, and the English, well, that opened the door globally. It really set him up to be a different kind of leader right from the start.
So, okay, this super smart, poetic kid who speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
How does he pivot into the whole K-pop scene? It wasn't a direct route, was it?
Not at all. It actually started much earlier, around 2007 when he was still in middle school. He took on the stage named Runchranda and dove into the underground hip-hop scene.
Runchranda. Right. So underground first. What sparked that initial interest in hip-hop?
Well, the bio points to a couple of key moments. Hearing epic high song Fly back in 5th grade that apparently just resonated deeply. And later, Eminem's album Relapse was a source of comfort and inspiration for him.
Okay, so he finds these influences. Was he just listening or?
Oh no, he was creating. Collaborating with other young rappers, some of whom, like Zico, became big names themselves. He was recording his own stuff using basic software like Adobe Audition. There's even a mention of him making a fan song for Bowie with a friend. You can just picture that early drive.
That's great. And then came the audition attempt, right, for Big Deal Records.
Yeah, in 2009, and this is such a crucial moment. He passed the first round, which is impressive itself, but then in the second round, he forgot his lyrics.
Oh, no. The classic audition nightmare.
Totally. You'd think that would be it. But one of the judges, the rapper Sleepy, he was really struck by RM's potential, his vibe, even with the mistake. So Sleepy got his contact info.
That's incredible. Just because the show sometimes is about more than just a perfect performance.
Exactly. And that connection turned out to be huge, because in 2010, Sleepy recommended RM to P-Dog, a producer at Big Hit Entertainment. That led straight to an audition with Bang Si-hyuk, the CEO.
Wow. So that was the foot in the door.
That was the moment. He joined Big Hit at 16, apparently kept it from his parents initially. Then came 3 intense years of training alongside Suga and J-Hope. He was even involved in writing some pre-debut BTS tracks way back in 2010 and 2011. It's a real story of perseverance, mentorship, and how one connection can change everything.
And it certainly did change everything. He debuts on June 13th, 2013, as BTS's leader and main rapper with No More Dream. Being the first member recruited, he was really fundamental in shaping their early sound, that hip-hop identity.
Absolutely fundamental. His impact is just enormous, both artistically and as their global voice. I mean, you can even put numbers on it. He's credited on over 170 songs registered with KOMCA, the Korea Music Copyright Association. He became a full member in 2020, which is a big deal for songwriters.
Right. And that English fluency we talked about became so critical. He was the spokesperson.
Completely. He bridged that gap to international audiences. And that UN speech in 2018 for UNICEF's Generation Unlimited, that 6-minute speech about speaking yourself, that was a landmark moment. It just resonated everywhere.
It really did. And when you look at BTS's trajectory, it's just milestone after milestone. 2013 debut, then 2015, their first music show win with I Need You.
Hmm.
That must have felt huge.
Oh, definitely. A validation after all the work. Then 2016 brought their first daysang at the Melon Music Awards, plus the Wings album. 2017, they're performing at the AMAs in the US, launching the whole Love Yourself campaign.
Which became massive. And 2018, Love Yourself. Tear hitting #1 on the Billboard 200. That was unprecedented for a K-pop group.
Totally shattered ceilings. And then, of course, 2020, Dynamite, their first #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Just iconic.
It's an incredible list. But the bio also mentions his leadership within the group being key, right?
Yes, specifically highlighting how he advocated for J-Hope to be included in the final lineup. He saw J-Hope's unique talent and really pushed for him, which was apparently crucial for their chemistry and success. And look at them now. Countless awards, Grammys nominations, best-selling artist in South Korean history.
And now, navigating the military service hiatus that started in 2022 with the reunion plan for 2025, it really shows how leadership, talent, and hitting those consistent milestones built this global powerhouse. Lessons there for sure.
Absolutely. A masterclass in growth and teamwork under immense pressure.
Okay, so beyond the massive success of BTS, what about RM, the person? The biography paints a picture of someone really thoughtful, right?
Yeah, definitely. His personal interests are quite revealing. He loves bike riding, apparently still doesn't have a driver's license, prefers the bike. He's a huge art lover, constantly visiting museums, especially focusing on Korean modern art. You see that a lot on his Instagram. Plus, he's a voracious reader, into photography, enjoys hiking, ice skating, just a really curious mind.
His Instagram, @Perky, you mentioned. It's not just selfies then.
Not at all. It's genuinely like an archive, like the name suggests. A mix of personal snapshots and lots of art. He actively uses it to promote Korean artists he admires, like Park Soo-koon or Namjoon. It feels very authentic. The bio even mentions him supporting the preservation of a traditional Korean bridal robe, a horot, and funding an art catalog. He's using his platform very intentionally for cultural appreciation.
That's really cool. And his philanthropy seems similarly thoughtful, often quite low-key.
Very much so, often discreet. But the bio notes some significant ones. 100 million donations to forensic science, to veteran support, to wildfire relief efforts in different regions. Specific, targeted giving.
And this personal commitment ties into the group's work too, like the Love Myself campaign with UNICEF.
Exactly. That campaign launched in 2017, raised millions for youth anti-violence work. And his UN speech on self-acceptance was sort of the philosophical heart of that. But of course, this level of fame comes with immense pressure. He's been open about that.
Yeah, the pressure of leadership representing the group, especially in English.
Right, and that candid moment mentioned in the bio, talking to Jimin in 2024, saying he felt like just a trivial 29-year-old despite the huge public image. That's very revealing. His solo album, Right Place, Wrong Person from 2024, explored those feelings too, identity, feeling like an outsider sometimes, even in K-pop. Plus, all the public scrutiny around their military service, it clearly took a personal toll.
It really gives you a sense of the person behind the icon. The achievements, yes, but also the passions, the contributions, and the very real human pressures.
Definitely shows the depth and complexity.
So bringing us up to the present, the latest news is pretty significant.
Yeah, the big news is he completed his mandatory military service just recently on June 10th, 2025. He served in the military band for the 15th Infantry Division.
And wasted no time getting back into things, right? He was part of the BTS Festa.
Immediately. Just days later, June 13th and 14th, he was there for their 12th anniversary celebration, BTS Festa 2025, in Goyang. Fan events and everything. Shows his commitment and, the excitement for the group's return.
And he basically confirmed that excitement himself on a Weverse live stream on Juneteenth. We have a quote here.
Oh, yeah. What'd he say?
He thanked the fans, obviously, and then said, "We want to have a concert, perform on stage. We'll hurry and make an album and return to the stage."
Wow. Pretty direct statement of intent.
Absolutely. Sends a clear message.
And with all the members expected to be finished with their service by June 21st, 2025, according to the bio, it seems his focus is laser sharp on that BTS reunion. There's been maybe some slight chatter about him returning to that show, Problematic Men, given his reputation, but the source says no confirmation there. The priority seems clear.
It definitely feels like the start of a whole new chapter.
For sure. A lot of anticipation.
So when we step back and look at this whole journey we've just unpacked, what's the big picture? From this quiet, super smart kid writing poetry to navigating the underground scene to leading one of the biggest music groups in history.
And using that massive platform for art, for philanthropy, for thoughtful messages, It's quite an arc.
It really is. Yeah, it makes you think about the balance he strikes, doesn't it?
Yeah. How do you balance that deep internal intellectual life, the art, the reading, with this incredibly public demanding role as a global icon? He seems to have managed it with remarkable authenticity despite the pressure.
Definitely. So, as you think about RM's story, what resonates with you? Maybe it's the power of teaching yourself something new, like you did with English,
Yeah.
or the importance of following your curiosity, even if it leads you down unexpected paths. Or perhaps it's about leading with integrity, using your influence, whatever it is, for something meaningful. And maybe, just maybe, finding your right place sometimes means going through a few wrong places first, learning and adapting as you go. Lots to think about there.